Harvard researchers pinged thousands of people at random moments with one question. Are you focused on what you're doing right now, or is your mind somewhere else? Nearly half the time, about 47%, it was somewhere else. Their hands were busy, but their attention had drifted off, replaying an old conversation or chasing a random thought. For most, that wandering is just static that wears them down. But a rare few have learned to steer that inner world instead of getting lost in it, and that's where their sharpest thinking happens. Here are 7 things they do alone that give it away, and number 7 is the biggest tell of all. Sign 1. You fall down rabbit holes nobody pushed you into. It's nearly 2 in the morning and you're 17 tabs deep into how medieval builders raised a cathedral spire with no cranes and no steel. You don't work in construction. Nobody will ever pay you for it. But your mind caught a scent and it's following the trail like a dog off its leash. For most people, curiosity comes with a receipt. I'll learn this if it earns me something. Yours doesn't. At the University of California, Davis, neuroscientist Matthias Gruber found that when your brain slips into curiosity, it doesn't just grab what you came for. It switches on the memory and reward systems and soaks up everything nearby, even unrelated facts. So those midnight rabbit holes aren't wasted time. They're you building the deepest library in the room while everyone sleeps. Sign 2. You connect dots that have no business touching. You're in the shower when a problem from work collides with a line from a podcast you half heard last week, and they click. 2 unrelated things turn out to be the same thing in different clothes, like 2 strangers at a party realizing they're long-lost siblings. Most people keep their knowledge in separate boxes that never touch. Your mind leaves all the lids off. Psychologists John Conyos and Mark Beeman spent years watching the brain in the half second before an aha lands. Right before it does, the brain goes quiet, almost looks away. Then a spark fires on the right side, the region that catches loose, faraway connections. That flash in the shower is a real, measurable event. It's why your best ideas show up in the shower or on a walk, never at your desk. Sign 3. You find the exact word for what you're feeling. Something stings. Most people grab one of 3 crayons, mad, sad, or I'm fine, and color it all in. But later, alone, you reach for the 120 color box, sitting with it until you find the exact shade. Not anger, but the specific ache of being misread by someone whose opinion you trusted. Not sadness, but the flat gray of a day that promised something and didn't deliver. That precision has a name. Lisa Feldman Barrett, a psychologist at Northeastern, found people who do this manage emotions better, recover from stress faster, and are less likely to lash out or numb it away, because you can't calm a storm you can't name. So naming a blurry, heavy feeling turns a wave that could knock you flat into information you can use. Most people never learn that. Sign 4. You quietly recut your own past. For most people, a memory is a photo in a drawer. Pull it out, feel the same old thing, put it back. But for you, driving a familiar road, an old scene comes back, and you don't just replay it, you recut it. That sharp thing a teacher said when you were 16. With everything you know now, you see it differently. They were clumsily trying to help. The memory didn't change, your understanding of it did. At Harvard, memory researcher Daniel Schachter found something surprising. Every time you recall a memory, your brain rebuilds it from scratch instead of pressing play. Memory isn't a recording, it's an editing room. So each time you revisit a painful scene, you rebuild it with more wisdom than before. Most people use the past to keep score against themselves. You use it to upgrade who you are. Sign 5. You talk yourself through things, sometimes out loud. Alone in the car or the kitchen, you catch yourself working through a problem by speaking to yourself, sometimes by your own name. Okay, slow down. What's the real issue here? If someone walked in, it might look strange. It's one of the best thinking tools we have. Ethan Kross, a psychologist at the University of Michigan, found that when people coach themselves by name instead of I, what he calls distanced self-talk, they steady faster, think more clearly under pressure, and make better calls. Saying "you've got this" instead of "I've got this" nudges you just outside the panic, like a calmer twin riding shotgun who sees the road you're too stressed to see. So that habit you felt embarrassed about? Surgeons and elite athletes use the same trick on purpose, and you worked it out alone. Sign 6. You can change your mind mid-thought and feel relief, not shame. We assume the smartest person in the room is the most certain one. The research leans the other way. When you're alone, building a tight argument in your head and a new fact breaks it, you don't dig in. You feel something close to relief. Good, now I'm nearer the truth. No wounded ego, no defending the you from 5 minutes ago. Mark Leary, a psychologist at Duke, named this intellectual humility. He found people who have it tend to weigh evidence more accurately, and they're no less confident or capable than anyone else. They just know the edges of what they know. Most minds treat a belief like a house they've bought and must defend. Yours treats it like a rental, fine for now, but you'll pack up the moment a better place opens. And this is the one that changes everything. Picture the silence right after you pull into the driveway and cut the engine. No radio, no podcast, no call. Most people can't sit in that for 10 seconds before grabbing the phone. You stay and let the last thought finish, because that quiet isn't empty to you. It's the door to the most interesting room you own. How rare is that? At the University of Virginia, psychologist Timothy Wilson left people alone in a bare room for 15 minutes with nothing but their thoughts. They disliked it so much that, given the option, 67% of the men and a quarter of the women chose to give themselves a mild electric shock rather than keep sitting with their own minds. Read that again. Most people would rather feel pain than be alone with their thoughts. And here you are choosing that silence on purpose because you built the one relationship most people never do, the one with yourself. When your own mind is good company, you stop needing the crowd's noise to feel okay, and you choose people because they fit, not because you're scared of the silence. So that's all 7, and if you spent the last few minutes thinking, that's me, here's how to turn these quiet habits into an advantage. First, protect the rabbit holes. Make time for the useless deep dives. That wandering is where your next idea is forming. Second, get the inner voice out of your head and onto something, a notebook, a voice memo. The thinking you do alone is too good to lose. Third, use those precise feeling words with people, not just yourself. Hand someone the exact shade of what you feel, and you give them a map to you. That's how surface relationships go deep. Fourth, take your hard questions into the open. Because you can sit with uncertainty without panicking, you become the person others trust with the messy, unsolved problems. Your mind has been working this whole time, in empty rooms, on late drives, on nights nobody clapped. That was never a flaw. It's always been your sharpest edge. Out of all 7, which one felt like someone was quietly reading your mind? Tell me the number in the comments. And if this finally named something you could never explain about yourself, subscribe and stick around. See you in the next one.